Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch me. My name is Daisy, and if this is your first time coming across my channel, you are beautifully welcome. So in today's video, I am going to be talking to you about why I love Brazil's President Lula. Okay, so the first time I ever heard about President Lula was when I came into Brazil in 2022. So then when I came in, there was presidential election campaign going on everywhere. Okay, so there was campaign on TV, on the streets, everywhere there was campaign, like a new president was about to be elected. Either the old one remains or a new president is elected, to take over. So anyway, there was a family I was actually staying with in Rio de Janeiro. I stayed with them for a couple of days, a Nigerian family, and I noticed that in that house, during the election and during the election period, it was the election period, like I said, while the election campaigns were going on, I realized that every single day I stayed in that house, President Lula's name was mentioned 1,000 times in that house. Okay, President Lula is the best. President Lula favors foreigners. President Lula is kind. President Lula is this. He wasn't the president as at that time. Okay, he was already the past president. He was president twice before he tried to become president again in 2022. Okay, so anyway, I didn't really know much about this President Lula. The wife of the house will every single time President Lula, President Lula. Oh, they were saying Lula, 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 okay, because he wasn't president then. I'm saying president now because he's the president now, okay. So but then they were saying Lula must be re-elected. They wanted Lula so bad to be re-elected. So but then I didn't really know much about him, and then I just came into the country. I just wanted to fix my documents, so my mind was fixing up my documentation. And then anyway, fast forward, I was able to fix my documents, and I decided to move to travel to Sao Paulo to see the city, to see how it is, Anyway, I traveled down there, and then when I got there, I realized that the same thing that was happening to me there, or that happened to me in Rio de Janeiro in that family, happened to me again in Sao Paulo. The people I was with, the Africans that I met, every single African that I met in Sao Paulo was screaming, Lula this, Lula must come in, Lula must do that, Lula is good to us, Lula is good to foreigners, Lula, 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 Lula. At the point, I'm like, who is this Lula? Who is this Lula, please? Like, at that point, my head was busting. I was having migraine. I'm like, nah, I must just look into who this Lula is. So I picked up my laptop. I'm like, nah, I need to search for who this Lula is today. And I picked up my laptop. I googled Lula. I didn't even know the spelling. I just put Lula the way it sounds, Lula, and then boom, this picture came out. And I saw this this picture. I'm like, okay, is this the Lula? And when I looked at him, immediately I felt something different when I saw his picture. Yeah, I felt a type of connection that was so positive, like, and then my soul and my spirit resonated with him. Like my spirit, my soul connected with him immediately based on what I was seeing, his facial appearance. It was so calm and cool that my spirit was connected to him, like my spirit knew he was a positive person. So based on that fact, I fell in love with him, not because of what people were saying, because I didn't experience anything they have experienced or what they were saying. So I cannot conclusively say, oh, Lula is good, Lula is this, just the same way they were saying it. I needed to observe him by myself. I needed to experience him by myself. I needed to see more of him by myself to be able to draw my own conclusions. Okay, so now that I've fallen in love with him on physical, like in the physical appearance, now it was time for me to now dig more into him, read about him. Normally I usually read about great leaders. I enjoy reading about great people. So now President Lula was on my table. So anyway, it's time to read about him. So I went down, I started searching for histories about him. Then I started reading about him myself, and I must tell you that his story and his history is quite interesting. Like, it is something you want to read about. It is something that will relax you. You don't feel uncomfortable, or you don't feel tired and bored reading about his history. His history is so interesting to a point that I have read about him more than 3 times. Like, I've read his history over and over again more than 3 times. That's how amazingly interesting his history is. Okay, so after I read about him, I fell in love with him even more deeper because of how he grew from grass to grace. The way he grew from one step to another step to another step, is now what made me finally fall in love with him. Like I said to you, I didn't fall in love with him because people were saying he's good to foreigners, he's good, he's a good policymaker, he's a good president. I didn't fall in love with that because I didn't experience him, so I cannot guarantee what I don't know or what I've not experienced. I wanted to go by what I feel, what I see by myself, about him. So anyway, now reading about him is done. I now know about him. I've seen the things he did. I've read about the policies he made. I've read about how he grew from grass to grace, everything. Now the love is there. I love him so. Coupled with the fact that his facial appearance is so soothing, is something you can easily click and connect with because of the level of, that is if you're a positive person. If you're not a positive person or you don't have a democratic spirit, you might not understand what I'm saying. It is only liberal people that will connect to what I'm saying. If you're a liberal person at heart, you are someone who is democratic, you're someone who is very positive, then you would understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, fast forward. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about his history, because now you need to really know why. Okay, what is in this history? You love him now deeper, because now I love him deeper, apart from his facial appearance. Now I love him deeper because I've read about him and I'm in love with his story. Now you might want to ask me, what is the story exactly? I'm going to tell you a little bit about his story here and there. I might not be able to cover everything, but I'm going to tell you his story as much as I can and as much as I can remember. Okay? So now let's talk about President Lula's President Lula's history a bit, just a little bit about it, so that we don't have to have this video extremely too long. Now, President Lula never grew up a rich child. Okay, he was born in a very poor home. His mother had 8 children and he was number 7. Okay, so he was the number 7th child. And while he was very, very young, himself, his mother, and his 7 siblings, they moved from Pernambuco, where he was born, moved to Sao Paulo, okay, bigger city, of course. Everybody wants to be at the bigger city because of greater opportunities, right? Now they moved from Pernambuco to Sao Paulo because of extreme poverty. There was a lot of poverty then, and then due to drought, okay, lots of things going on there, they had to move for a better life. Now getting to Sao Paulo, himself, his mother, 7 siblings started living in a 1-room apartment, 1-room studio room, just like my own right now. Okay, that is why I tell you that it doesn't matter how you start. I'm not a poor person, but you cut your coat according to your size. You don't do more than yourself, so that you don't join the bandwagon of criminals. Okay, so I told you, just look at the history. The president of Brazil today, a person who has become president 3 good times of Brazil, once lived in a 1-room apartment, like 1-room studio room, with his 7 siblings and his mom. Now, how many people are that? How many people? Calculate, that is about 9. I didn't read about his father joining them in Sao Paulo. I read about his mom and his 7 siblings moving to Sao Paulo. Now, let's not forget the fact that his mother and his father were great influence to him and his siblings. Okay, they were very positive people, very good examples to follow. So maybe at some point, maybe the father died. I'm not sure what happened to the father. But then what I read, according to his history, his mom, himself, his 7 siblings moved from Pernambuco to Sao Paulo to start a new life for better opportunities. Now they live in a 1-room apartment. So like I said, like I always shout in all of my videos, it is okay to start low. Okay, it is okay to start very small. You're not running any race with anybody. You are not competing with anybody. Do not let any type of situation push you into being a criminal. If President Lula decided, as poor as they were then, to become a criminal, he won't become a president of Brazil today. He won't be as great as he is today. Okay, he didn't use poverty as an excuse to now go on the street to become a drug addict or a very hard criminal, or be there stealing phones on the street or pushing drugs. It was never an excuse for him. That is why I always preach on my channel and generally in life, poverty is not an excuse for you to be a criminal. You can work hard to get out of poverty. It is possible. I once lived as a poor child. We had nothing, and today we are fine. My mom grew up in poverty and she died a house owner, property owners, and she left us properties, money, jewelries before she left this world. But she was a poor child. But she didn't let her poverty handicap her. This was a child. She grew up a person that she never went to university when she was with her parents. It was in my father's house at the age of 50 plus. She went to the university for the first time. My mom, she graduated from LASU in Lagos at the age of almost 60. So everything is possible. It doesn't matter how old you are. Continue to push, you will get there. Anyway, back to President Lula. So like I said, now after now I told you, now they are settled in Sao Paulo. Okay, now they started their lives, and he got his first job at the age of 12. Now at the age of 12, I was in JSS 2. I wasn't even working. I was in secondary school. Like I said to you, I didn't grow up rich. I know poverty. I'm not poor now, but I know poverty. I know what poverty feels like. I know what poverty smells like. But I was in school. I was still privileged. I was in a public school. I was going to school. But now look at this age, President Lula was working. That is to tell you the type of person he is. Very hardworking, industrious, and ready to change his life. So anyway, his first job, he got a job at a dye shop where he worked as a shoe shine boy and as an office boy. Now imagine your president today in Brazil now, who has become president 3 times in Brazil. He has been re-elected 3 times. He was elected the first time, then re-elected second time, re-elected third time. And he was once an office errand boy. He was once a shoe shiner. Pay attention to the lessons I'm trying to let you learn from this story. It doesn't matter how you start. If you're in a situation where there is no money, things are hard, keep pushing. It is not an excuse to fall into the streets and go join criminals, to become criminals or peddle drugs and all of that stuff. Poverty is not an excuse to be a criminal. I will always say it. I was once poor, and today I am still not a criminal. President Lula was once very, very poor, and today he has been the president of Brazil 3 good times, and he has much more achievements than even all, in addition to all of these things. Anyway, like I said, at age 12, he got his first job in a dye shop where he worked as a shoe shine boy and also an office boy. Subsequently, at age 14, he started another job. He got another job and that was when he got his first official work permit, Brazilian work permit. Okay, that is an official job. With that work permit, any job you get means it's official, like a real job. So as time went on, he also worked at a screw factory. Okay, screw factory, and subsequently he went to a Brazilian technical school where he learned how to be a metallurgist, like metallurgists, like people who deal with metals. Okay, you work as a metal worker. So he did this diploma. It was a diploma, and he studied for 3 years and he got a diploma. That was his first ever like significant qualification. Okay, so remember, he went to a primary school where he learned how to read and write, and then he went to a technical school where he learned how to be a metallurgist. So he knows everything about metal work. Okay, anything that has to do with iron, metals, he's very good at it. Okay, so now I've told you that he got a diploma, which he studied for 3 years as a metallurgist, and he became a president at some point in his life. Yeah, but do you know that President Lula, even though he only, how will I put it? Even though he only, how am I gonna say it? Okay, now, even though president, now, let me calm down. Now, I told you that he got a diploma as a metallurgist, and then somehow along the way he became the president of Brazil, right? Now, President Lula remains the only president in the history of Brazil that became the president of Brazil without a university degree. I don't know if you understand me. Till today, he became the president of Brazil without a university degree. Okay, remember, he only had a diploma, a technical college or technical school diploma, which he studied for 3 years to become a metal worker, somebody who deals with metal. But he didn't really have a degree from the university. But he became the president of Brazil. He is the only one in history that doesn't have, or I wouldn't say doesn't have now, because he has been honored in various universities with a honorary. I'm gonna get there anyway. So that didn't have a university degree, and he became a president. Now he subsequently, or he is the most how am I going to say it? He is the only president in history that has created, he didn't go to the university, but then he is the only president in Brazilian history that has created the most public universities in Brazil. I don't know if you understand me. He didn't go to the university. He became the president of Brazil. The only man that has successfully become the president of Brazil without a university degree in the history of Brazil. And then he now is the only man who became the president in the history of Brazil that has created the most public universities in Brazil. Remember that Brazil has 316 universities, public universities, and out of these 316 public universities, he created 14 out of, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. And he is the only one that has created the most so far today of all the presidents elected in Brazil. Isn't that amazing? When I tell you that his story is very interesting, informational, educational, impactful, just agree with me. You can agree with me that his story is very inspirational. But anyway, yeah, he and of all the presidents that has been elected so far, despite the fact that he never went to the university, he became the president of Brazil without the university degree. He ended up becoming the only president that has created public universities, the most public universities being 14 out of 316. And then he is the only president in Brazil, in the history of Brazil, to be honored all over the world with honorary degrees from very, very important universities in Brazil, outside Brazil, all over the world. He has the most honorary degrees given to him to honor him, like, you are amazing, take this, we honor you with this degree, from all over the world. He's the only one in history that has gotten the most honorary degrees. Isn't that amazing? And he never went to school, and this is a man that never was privileged. One thing that is what I tell you, that I really love his story so much, because he never forgot where he came from. He came from poverty, but he never forgot. The moment he got into power, he never forgot that he needed to impact the lives of people, to change the things that he never was able to have, which is, one of them is education. He didn't go to university, but he was able to establish universities that offers education for free, both for citizens and foreigners, for free. No application fee, no nothing, no fee space, no tuition, nothing. So isn't that just amazing? Anyway, let's move on. Now, in the course of his life, before he became president, we're going to get into how he became president and all of that stuff. So before he became president of Brazil, while he was, when he got his diploma to become a metallurgist, when he was working, after all of that stuff, along the line in his life, he was able to join a trade union, metal workers trade union, okay? People who deal with metals. Remember, he was working, he has a metallurgist, he has a diploma in that, and then he worked in various factories, and along the line in his life, he joined trade union that had to do with metal workers. And then in the course of this, he met those trade worker people in this union through his brother, okay? He joined a trade union through his brother, and everything he knows about then the people he met was through his brother, and gradually he grew in that union. He impacted their lives so much to a point that at one point in his life he became the president of the metal workers trade union, okay? And then during the period he was leading them, he pushed for workers' strike at different times, so as to better the lives of his people, the metal workers people. Now, during that time, they had the military dictatorship regime that put a stop to protest, or that put a stop to organizing strikes. But despite that fact, President Lula never backed down. The military, they are very, very brutal, and they can do and undo. Despite the fact that there was a stop to organizing strikes, President Lula never backed down. He organized strikes, worker strikes, so as to push for what they wanted, to bring about changes for his people. He never backed down. He never stepped down. He never said no. He never said, oh, the military are so brutal. The military people put a stop. The military dictatorship government put a stop to we protesting and to we organizing strikes. Oh, let me back down. He never backed down. He continued to push for what he believed in, and then subsequently brought about a lot of changes for his people. That is amazing. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, just to let you know that was the beginning. The trade union organization he joined was the beginning of his political career. And while he was doing that, like I said, he became the president of the trade union. He moved further, he pushed further to become even much more, thereby pushing. He pushed so much further to a point where now he how will I put it, he started how am I going to say it, he enrolled, will I say enrolled, he embarked on a journey to become the president of Brazil. Okay, let me put it that way. He embarked on the journey to become the president of Brazil, and then he started trying to become the president of Brazil. He tried the first time, second time, third time, but he failed all these 3 times. But he never gave up, and especially because he had a friend called Fernando. I don't know if that's his name, but I think it's Fernando. I might be corrected in the comment section. I stand to be corrected, but I believe it's Fernando. His friend continued to encourage him never to give up, and he never gave up. He tried first time, failed to become the president of Brazil. He tried second time, failed. He tried third time, failed. And then 2002, he tried again, and boom, he won. He became then the president of Brazil in 2002 2002 for the first time. Okay, that is why it is never good to give up. No matter what you're passing through, no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard you're trying and you're failing, your failure should give you more strength. Your failure shouldn't be a yardstick to give up and then you find yourself on the street. Keep pushing. There is no way you will push. You will push and push. No matter how long it will take, you will get there. You will make it. He tried 3 good times. 3 times is a lot of times to try to be the president of a country, and then you fail woefully 3 times. And then the 4th time, boom, it worked for him. 2002, yes. 2002, I always mistaken that for 2022. 2002, he became the president for the first time. And he became the president for the first time in 2002, and then subsequently he ruled and he did all his good work. And then in 2006 he became the president again, and then in 2018 he tried to go for presidency again. He tried to recontest for presidency again, but his candidacy was rejected. Why? Because he was accused of corruption in 2018, and as a result he went to prison for that. Yeah, makes me very sad, especially because the trial in court was considered, and all over Brazil was considered very controversial trial. It was a very, very controversial case because a lot of people did not believe the conspiracy. That they didn't believe the story. They believed it was a conspiracy to pull him down because he was rising up so fast. And then a lot of people who wanted to believe what they wanted to believe still believed he did it. But a lot of people, there was a lot of stories everywhere. They know that he didn't do it. That's the speculation that was all over. So his candidacy to become president a 3rd time in 2018 was cancelled, rejected, and then he was arrested and went to prison in 2018. But in 2019, the federal Supreme Court ordered his release, and subsequently his convictions were eliminated, scrapped, gradually annulled. They gradually annulled all the allegations against him, and that can only be because investigations was carried out, and then maybe they found that he was not guilty, and then the Supreme Court cancelled and ruled everything null and void, and everything connected to any criminal activity, corruption allegation, everything was wiped out, and then his political rights were restored, now meaning he has the right to recontest to become the president of Brazil again. So all his political rights were restored as soon as his criminal convictions were annulled. So that's why in 2022, remember it was in 2018 he was accused and arrested and jailed, and then in 2019 he was ordered to be released by the courts, and then all his political rights were restored, and in 2022 he came back again. Like, he came back again, and then he recontested, and subsequently he became the winner October 30, 2022. And remember, during this period, he was almost assassinated in 2022 during this election period. Remember, I said that there was a lot of campaigns everywhere, presidential election everywhere, and then during that time, he was almost eliminated. He was almost wiped off the surface of the earth. Thank goodness, thank God, he was not. And yeah, he became the president in 2020. He was elected again in October 2022, and then that made it the third time he became the president of Brazil. Just to let you know that President Lula is considered the most popular politician in the history in the history of Brazil, the most popular politician in the history of Brazil. That can only happen because of your impact, positive impact in a country and beyond. You cannot be known as the most popular politician in the whole of the country if you have not made great impact. Yes, you can be known for bad things, but you can be known as the most popular politician only if you do something positive. Okay, you can only be much more popular in the limelight when you do something positive. Anyway, so just to let you know that President Lula's regime, okay, created social programs such as Bolsa Familia. Okay, Bolsa Familia is a program that helps families with low income. Okay, it benefits both the citizens and the foreigners. Okay, as long as you're documented in the country, and as long as your family earns very low income, you are entitled to Bolsa Familia. Okay, whether you're a single person, whether you are a family, you can apply for this social assistance. Okay, it was created by President Lula. His administration created that, and then he created a whole lot of social programs to help people. I'm just going to be mentioning 2 or 3 of them just to let you know, so we don't have so much of longer, so as not to make this video too long. So he also created a social program such as Fome Zero. Fome means hunger, zero means zero in English, so it means zero hunger. So that is also another program he created, a social assistance to help people in Brazil. Now I'm gonna say something like, this is why, from the things I've been saying so far, you can tell that his story is so interesting, even though I am not really going deeply into the main stories because I read a whole lot and there is no way I can say everything here. But from what I have said so far, you can actually tell that this is a man that didn't forget where he came from. He came from extreme poverty. But he never forgot where he came from. He remembered when he got to power, to a position where he can change the lives of people. He remembered to create programs and and social programs and things that can benefit the people. Imagine him creating 14 universities in the whole of Brazil out of 314 when he himself never went to the university. That tells you that what he didn't have, he vouched to make other people have it. He didn't go to the university. All the university degrees he has today was given to him in honor of the great things he has done. We honor you with this degree. We honor you with this degree. He has a lot of degrees now because of his good works, because he has been identified as something amazing, like a great individual, someone who has impacted people's lives positively, changed their life with different programs and various things. So just to let you know, the social assistance programs such as Bolsa Familia and also Fome Zero is recognized by the United Nations. That is amazing. It's recognized by the United Nations. That is how far he has gone. And just to let you know that, okay, before I get into what I'm about to say, I didn't finish what I wanted to say. Like I was saying, I said, like, it tells you that this man never forgot where he came from. He came from poverty, and he's doing everything in his power to make sure that people are not in poverty. People go to school. Things he never had is making sure that people have them, including foreigners that come here and are documented. So now he is only not being a positive influence and a blessing to people in Brazil, is also a blessing to people even in other countries. He has been a great supporter of various countries such as Iran, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and many other countries. There are many things he does to support them. I'm telling you, like, so many things he has done, created, established just to support other people from other countries. And a lot of foreigners are here today all because of the things that he created to accommodate them, to accommodate everyone. So now you can tell from his story that he's just extremely amazing. You see what I tell you, that I fell deeply in love with him more when I read about him, not because of what people said, because whatever they're saying, I was not there, I didn't experience it. And if you know me, you know I don't say things I don't experience, and I don't say things I don't know. I only go by the things that I know, I experience, and I see by myself. Okay, so now remember I said, now just to let you know again, President Lula is the only president that has been elected 3 times in a row. 3 times. He is the only one in history, in the history of Brazil. If you notice everything I have said he is the only one in history, okay, that was elected he's the only one in history that became the president of Brazil without a degree, university degree. And he is the only one in history that created the most public universities that offers free education to both citizens and foreigners in the history of Brazil. He is also the only one in history that has been decorated with honorary degrees from all over the world in the history of Brazil. He is also the only president that has been elected 3 times in the history of Brazil. Isn't that amazing? Like, oh my God, please enjoy this story with me. You can actually agree with me that his story is so interesting. Like, I have read his story over and over again more than 3 times. You can as well go, read about him and then enjoy yourself. I'm telling you, when you read about him, you don't get bored. I tell you, I swear down, you're never gonna get bored. You are never gonna feel funny. You are going to be interested to know more. And I just want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to his mother. Yeah, I said thank you to his mother because thank you so much, Ma, and thank you so much, sir, his father, for not stopping at number 6. Because if they had stopped at number 6, having baby number 6 and stopped, we wouldn't have had President Lula. Okay, so thank you so much, Daddy and Mommy Lula, for for giving birth to number 7, even though they later had number 8. But it's okay, number 8 is fine. But thank you for bringing to life number 7. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned that in 2022, when the campaign was going on, he was almost assassinated. Thank goodness that he wasn't killed. And I think that's I think some people have been arrested, and investigations is currently going on. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that much. And recently he was so sick, he had surgery. I am super grateful to God that he made it alive. I think he's now 79 years old now, and I still want to see him much more alive. I really want him to get to like a 150 years old. Like, maybe I'm just exaggerating, maybe at least 120, at least between 100 and 120. I would really love to see him alive till that time, because I just love him so much and I don't want to lose him at all. I'm not ready. I am not ready to lose him at any time. So thank goodness he made it out of surgery, and I'm super happy. He was born in October actually, so every October I remember him because my father was also born in October. Okay, my father was born in, I think, October 22. President Lula was born October 27. Okay, so just a little bit of difference. So I always remember him every October. So I don't know if there's any other thing I have not said. Let me be sure, because I think I wrote some things down. I think I said everything. I've said not everything I want to say, but at least some of the things I remember. And yeah, now moving forward, now coming to my daughter now. Now, my daughter, I'm going to relate my daughter's case to President Lula's case. I always talk to my daughter about great leaders. Okay, so Great leaders, great leaders, great leaders. I've talked to my daughter about President Lula and other great leaders. Why I do this is because, yeah, she's just a year old, and you might say, oh, she doesn't understand anything. Yeah, to you, she doesn't understand anything. But to me, I believe the more I continue to talk to her about these great leaders, the more she'll grow to understand whatever it is I say to her. And you know, children go by pictures, so I always show her the pictures of these great leaders. I show her pictures of President Lula. I show her pictures of Barack Obama. I have showed a picture of Nelson Mandela, also Oprah Winfrey, and many other great leaders. And when I show her these pictures, I tell her stories about each of them. Why I do this is because these are the type of people I want her to mirror while growing up. For definitely, I am number one influence in her life. It is what I believe in, she would mirror, right? Whatever we are is what our children see. So definitely, I am a first point of learning. So I am definitely her number one example. And then subsequently, these people that I talk to her about are going to be very great influence in her decision making, on how our life is going to go, and all of that would help her narrow down on the right path to life, because you are showing her people who have actually lived great lives. So anyway, so I talked to her about all these great leaders, and also apart from her using these people as examples to living a good life, great life, not just good life, great life, people full of good examples. Apart from that, I also talked to her about these great leaders because you know, while she's growing up, when she starts to make friends, consciously or unconsciously, what she will be looking out for in her friends are these things she sees in these great leaders, starting from me up until these great people I have talked to her about, and I will continue to talk to her about more great leaders. So it is very important that we expose our children to people that are worth emulating. Okay, so now she knows President Lula by picture. So you know, children learn by pictures. It is when you show them pictures, they understand things through pictures. They understand you when you speak to them by words also, but with pictures it is faster for them to learn. So so by picture, she knows President Lula, she knows Barack Obama, she knows Nelson Mandela, she knows Tafawa Balewa is from Nigeria. She knows what is this woman's name now? Oprah Winfrey, and she knows a couple of other ones that I've shown her now. But especially the ones I knock on her for now are three main people for now. Now I forgot to talk about Martin Luther King. She knows Martin Luther King as well. The four people that I show to her regularly for now: Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, President Lula, and also Oprah Winfrey. So these four people are the most that I show her, even though I show her other people. So anyway, this is it from me today. You can agree with me that this man is great. He started from nothing to something. Like I said, poverty is not an excuse to be a criminal. You can be very poor today and be very rich tomorrow. You can be poor today and you can be an average citizen tomorrow. You might not be rich, but you'll be off poverty if only you work hard, if only you stay focused, if only you go to school. President Lula started from nothing. He lived in a house where probably cockroaches and ants and insects was all over. But today, he's the president of Brazil, and he became president 3 times, and he has various degrees from all over the world that he never even attended because of honor, because they honor him. They see him worthy of those degrees because of the great works he has done. And look at him today. He's the creator of 14 public great universities in the history of Brazil, and he's the one that has the greatest history, the most out of all the presidents that has ruled Brazil. He has the most greatest history ever that you can talk about in the history of Brazil. Isn't that amazing? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is all I have to say for now. If you have questions for me, you can put it down. If you want to contribute to what I've said so far, you can also put it down in the comment section below. Till I come your way next time, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, everybody. Bye.